Hey guys, welcome back to Casks-n-Que, where whiskey and barbecue meet. I'm your host, Justin Lloyd, and today it's competition barbecue ribs. So be sure to stick around. Oh, you're so beautiful, Mr. Third Place Trophy BuzzBQ 2022. Just the emerald and the gold. Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. I was busy admiring my trophy. Can you see me? This is kind of in the way. It's so large and just massive trophy. It's hard to film. All right, guys. Sorry, I just had to throw that in there. So yeah, we were lucky enough, threw together a little competition team. A couple weeks ago, my buddy Al, that he's with us on the whiskey videos, he was there with me. He helped out a whole lot, and together we were able to snag third place in pulled pork and 6th overall for grand champion. So we had a pretty good weekend. What we're going to do today is give a run through of our competition style pork ribs. We're going to do St. Louis style cut. And we're going to walk you through the whole process from the time that we, take it out of the package, season it, get it on the grill, make it all nice and pretty, take the slices that are the actual rib bones that we want to show the judges, the whole 9 yards. So stick around. All right, folks. So what we have here are Tyson rack of ribs. As you can see, St. Louis style spare ribs. That's the way I like to roll. Now you can buy these with the chine bone still on it, where you have to, cut that off and square everything up, and it's cheaper. It's about $5 less. Today I was just kind of in a hurry and just wanted to get these things on the grill, so you do you. You can trim those up if you'd like, or you can just buy them St. Louis style already. So let's get into this guy. All right, one of the things I like to do right off the bat is to kind of clean it up. This is actually not blood. It's from what's called myoglobin. Flip it over. Hit the board, make sure there's not too much stuff on the board. All right, looks pretty good to me. So the next step is going to be to trim off this skirt piece right here. So just make sure you have a decently sharp knife. Run along the bottom. It's not a big deal. Don't have to make this take a lot of time. Just run through there real quick. Knock off any extra fat that's hanging, because that's just going to burn. Okay, that's not going to help us out at all. Go ahead and knock that off. Set that off to the side. You can save that skirt steak or skirt strip for sausage if you want to. We're not doing that today. I'm just in a hurry. I want to get this thing on the grill. So you'll see like pieces like this right here. Maybe that's a better angle. Like right there. We'll carve that off. Because anything that's kind of sharp like that, a sharp edge on the, or that has a point, I should say, that's typically just going to burn. It's not going to do anybody any good. It's like that piece right there, same thing. Let's go ahead and knock that off. And again, this is not how I would normally cook for my family. Competition style, we're going by KCBS rules today, and we'll walk you through that whole process, but it's just not the same as cooking for your family. Most folks like just fall off the bone ribs. That's just kind of the way it is, and but that's not what we're doing here today. We're looking for a clean bite. We don't want a whole lot of tug, and sometimes this membrane is hard to take off. There's other videos that I can put a card right there where I do that. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. Yeah, we're gonna have to use our butter knife on this one. It's being a pain. So we'll just get right under that membrane right there, and these flies have already started this year. Summer came early here in Arkansas, and we are struggling with gnats and flies right now. Lots of fun. I love this time of year when the flies think that they own everything. One day I'm going to find a way to kill them all dead. All right, that's membranes wanting to come off. Well, I say that, maybe not. There goes our napkin. That's another thing I can't stand is wind. All right. Yeah, this is not cooperating. All right, now we're done. Overall pretty good. Trim this piece off. See this little piece right here? It's kind of jagged. It doesn't do anything for us. Let's knock that off. I'm gonna square this up nice and neat. Typically, we don't take pieces. We don't take the bones from the ends because those kind of get gnarled up in the cook and just they're not the prettiest. We're kind of looking at these bones right here. And right here, there's a little bit of fat. Go ahead and knock that off. You don't want to take too much off though. That leaves a divot and makes the rib kind of oddly shaped. That's about enough right there. Like I said, this end part, yeah, we'll go right there. The end part's not really important. That's not where we're taking our competition slices or our competition bones from. Put that out of the way. Trim that part up. See, when you're cooking these for your friends and family, you wouldn't have taken that end off. That's meat. You don't want to throw that away. But this is KCBS style ribs. And same thing over here. Square it up. Make sure your knife's sharp. Okay, looks pretty good. So we'll flip that over. We're going to hit it with some regular old yellow mustard. And all this does is act like a binder. It doesn't affect the flavor of the bone of the ribs or anything. So don't worry about putting that on there. All it does is bind the rub to the meat. You will not taste this, I promise. All right, the only thing I'm doing different today than I did this a few weekends ago is normally I like to use Count Porcula's rib rub. I'm out. I use most of it at the competition, so I need to order some more. But today we're going to roll with Wright's Meat Rub, the original, which is really good stuff. It's got heavy pepper flavor, salt, garlic, onion powder. I think there's some paprika in there. Let's see what else we got. Less than 2, blah, 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 blah. Brown sugar and spices. All right, so let's get that rub on there. I don't worry too much about the bone side, but just in case, I like to hit it with some rub. Just in case. All right, that's good enough. Just pat that in. We don't like to rub, pat, okay? Rubbing just smears the rub everywhere, and it's amateur look. All right. Pretty heavy application here. Because here's the deal. Those judges are only going to take like one bite, okay? So you want to make sure that the bite that they take is delicious. And that means getting some rub on there. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for flavor. And by no means am I any kind of competition barbecue guru, but I've done okay in the few I've been in. Mostly as a helper. This last one was my first time under my own banner. Well, we combined Casks-n-Que and Count Porcula, but the Count Porcula guys are busy actually doing barbecue for a living. This is just a hobby for me. All right, so that's looking pretty good. We might come back. We're going to let that rest about 15 minutes. We might come back with a little bit more rub. In the meantime, we're going to let that grill get up to 250 degrees. We actually might be there. We're running the Blaze Kamado and running some cherry wood chunks with some royal oak lump charcoal. So we will be right back. Okay, guys, this rack of ribs has started to sweat a little bit, and it's ready to go on the cooker. All right, we're sitting at about 260. I'm gonna set these nice and neat. Remember to kind of square these ribs up because they will cook the way that they're sitting on the grill. So I like to kind of push them in a little bit, you know, give them some good shape. And there we go. We'll check back in just a little bit. All right, we're back at the cooker. These ribs have been running for about 2.5 hours at 250 to 275. So we'll go ahead and hit the rack with a mixture of apple cider vinegar and water. Looking pretty good right now, actually. Starting to get a little bit of pullback on the bones, but we want to make sure they don't dry out too much, and we want to add a little extra layer of flavor, and that vinegar really helps to accomplish that goal. So this is what we're looking like. A little bit of pullback right there. I don't know if you, well, let's see. A little bit of pullback right there. It's kind of hard to tell. But overall, they're looking really good. I don't think we need to wrap quite yet. I want to get a bark established. We've got good color, smells good, looks good. So I think we're in business. We'll be back. All right, folks, we've had these ribs on the grill for about 2.5 hours. I checked before I came back to film. It's got the color that I want. We're starting to get a little bit of pullback, so I think now is the time that we go ahead, take them off the grill, get them on some aluminum foil, and I'll show you that whole process. Okay, so here's what we're looking like. Good color, good pullback, everything we want. So let's get these guys in some aluminum foil and doctor them up. So we got this rack off the smoker. So what we're gonna do is lay down a bed of delicious brown sugar. It's gonna add some sweetness to that spiciness that we already have going on with the rub. And I'm not gonna add any more rub. I think we have plenty on there already. So we'll hit that brown sugar about like that. Then we're gonna lay down some Irish unsalted butter. That's gonna give it some richness and some shine. Get that piece out of there. So one right there. It's hot out here, so this butter's already starting to melt. One right there. And one at the end, right over here. Okay? And the next thing I'm gonna do, let's keep it just real simple. We're just gonna use some, can you see that? Focus. The next thing I'm gonna do is just use some Richard's honey. It's just local honey. This is from El Dorado, Arkansas. And as Malcolm Reed with How to Barbecue Right always says, you gotta use the honey for the money. So we're just gonna layer that on top of that brown sugar and the butter. And that'll give it a good sheen, make it real pretty. And one more thing, we're gonna hit it with some more apple cider vinegar. Looking good. That's gonna help with that tanginess. Don't be afraid of it. All right, so now we'll flip this rack on top of that butter and all that goodness. At this point, we're just kind of doing a foil boat. There's some little burnt pieces from the marrow coming out of the bone. We'll take that off. That can all be done later though. Kind of nitpicking at this point. All right, let's go ahead and get this wrapped up. Make sure you're using heavy duty aluminum foil, because once those bones start to expose, you definitely don't want them poking through the foil and losing all your juice. You worked really hard to get that deliciousness, and you don't want it pouring out into the smoker. Pretty simple, just keep it nice and tight, and then we'll put it back on the smoker, meat side down, bone side up. Okay guys, we got a storm rolling in. You might be able to hear that in the background. There's some tornadoes that have touched down around the area, and typical Arkansas day. So these ribs have been going in that aluminum foil on the cooker for about an hour. So we're gonna go ahead and take them off and see what we got. All right guys, this lightning's getting close. All right, these are looking, oh man, we may have overshot. Definitely got pullback. So what we're gonna do is flip these guys over. Smells awesome. Look at all that juice. Oh no, we're looking great. Look at those are pretty. I was a little worried that we may have overshot. We definitely, right here, we're not gonna be able to use that. That was a fatty part, so we're gonna look for our bones to be right in this area. And normally I would turn in, you turn in 6 bones. I only did 1 rack just for demonstration purposes here today. So we're gonna roll with what we got here in those middle slices. We're gonna go ahead and get our turn-in box ready. We'll wrap this up and let it chill for just a little bit. Okay folks, this storm is approaching fast, so we're gonna have to work quickly. We're covered out here, but I don't wanna get struck by lightning. So what we're gonna do is build a simulation competition box. This is KCBS style. Today, I'm just, you have the option of just turning the ribs in with no garnish. However, I like to I like to add some green. So we're gonna go, actually I need to get that stem off of there. No stems. So we're just going with the romaine bed of lettuce. So like I said, we're just gonna use this greenery here and pull away from the stems. We're gonna try to build a nice little bed. And I'm in a bit of a rush. Normally I would do this a little bit differently, but this is just so you get the kind of the idea. Don't want to use these big stem pieces. That's usually a no-no. So we're just going to keep on working with this green right here. And like I said, this is just romaine lettuce. We could just tuck along the sides, which is the quicker way to go because the ribs are going to sit in the middle, and that would give the greenery along the edges. But I think we're just going to roll with this today, like so. And you can use parsley, and that's totally fine. But once you start using this green garnish, you kind of want it to look good. And like I say, I'm in a hurry here because I don't want to get struck by lightning. And really, the focus isn't on the greenery. Focus is really on the cook. And one of the things this does is kind of helps the ribs stand up, so the judges get a nice presentation. It makes the color pop because we're going to add some sauce to those ribs. They look pretty already, but they can always be better. Piece there, piece there. You can get real crazy with the with your garnish here. Just for speeding things up, let's roll with that. Okay, so I'm gonna go put that in the fridge to keep it nice and cold. I'm gonna probably hit it with a little bit of water just to keep a nice presentation. All right, folks, we are up against a storm here. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and sauce. That looks really pretty. We're using a Arkansas product here. Redneck Lipstick out of Grubbs, Arkansas. It's good sauce, really enjoy it. Not too heavy on pepper. Just nice and mild. You don't want to freak any judges out. Make your own sauce, do whatever you want, but make sure it has good color to it. You don't want it real dark brown. Man, this storm is getting crazy. That's about enough right there. Then we're going to take our little paintbrush and just paint it. And we'll clean up those bones here in a little bit. I'll show you that whole process. And I don't want to cook these ribs anymore. Sometimes you'll put it back on to let the sauce firm up, but these are hot enough where I don't think we're going to need to do that. Holy moly, lots of rain. All right, let's take these in. It's getting way too crazy out here. Okay, guys, really sorry. We had to call an audible here. So that's what we're looking like with our ribs. We're gonna get that nice and painted. I don't like having too many brush strokes. You can probably pick that up. I don't know, maybe not. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna hit it with a little more sauce. I don't like those brush strokes on there that you can probably tell that are there. All right. I just pat that in. Give it a nice glistened look. It's looking pretty good. You can hear that thunder in the background. It's freaking crazy. See, I don't like those brush strokes. Let's pat those out. Okay, that looks much better. Much better. So, at this point, we need to take this rack out from the foil. All right, so let's take this rack gently from underneath like that. gonna save those juices right there, don't worry. Those come in later. Doing this one-handed, so bear with me here. Goodness, lots of thunder. Okay, looking pretty good. So now what I want to do is get those juices that we just put off to the side onto our rack of ribs. We'll go nice and easy. There we go, perfect. Kind of dab that, give it that wet sheen. Is that redundant, wet sheen? You know what I mean. Okay. Looking good. So what I like to do, once again, just give them a flip, nice and easy. You can kind of see how our bones are, like right here, those look pretty good. So that's what we're gonna go for. Feels good. Nice clean cut. Okay. And our third one. This one might be a little tricky. It's starting to knuckle up on me. Okay. And like I say, normally we'll have a couple racks of ribs to choose from because we'll put 6 in the box. Right here, we're gonna work with 1, 2, 3. We're gonna work with these 3 ribs, and these are still delicious and perfectly edible. Lay it like so. A little bit of space in between, not much. Pretty good looking rib box. I think I need a little more something on that one rib right here. Remember, we'll clean some of this up. Okay, it's looking pretty dang good. Okay, so I'm gonna take my dirty glove off, discard that. It's starting to hail at our house now, great. A little sauce right there needs to be cleaned. And I don't know if you can see right here on the bone, but we're gonna dab that and clean it up too. Yep, hail's hitting the house, great. Glad I'm not outside. You'll be seeing me duck and cover. Okay, that is how I would turn in my competition box. I think this rib right here, let's see if I get my finger there, could use a little more work. But that's kind of what we're looking like. Nice sheen. Real pretty pullback, nice clean bone. So the next thing to do is give it a taste. All right, let's go with this first one right here.